Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Hey, everyone. Good to see everyone here on a Relics Radio Wednesday night. See, I almost did it again. Wednesday night. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, boy, I tell you what, good to be here with you. We got a lot of stuff to get to tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in some people I know. First of all, you know them as my friend, my digging buddy, my drinking buddy, my... What else?
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
How's it going? Welcome to another Wednesday night.
Yeah. Yep. It's another.
You know, I'm gonna get a sound bite that's like admonishes you, and I'll hit it when you say "Welcome to another Thursday night," and I'll just admonish you
like a big bonk, like hammer.
Yeah.
Bonk sound effect.
I'll work on that. Let me. Hey, the secretary. Yeah, write that down. Thanks.
Shoot. What do you? How
are you, man?
Doing good. Shoot, we got a chance to get out in.
I know we did.
185 degree weather.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. I had to cut it early. I was not having it. I was not. It was hot, and I started feeling it. I knew we had. So quick story, because I know we want to bring Jeff in, but we found a spot on a map in the middle of nowhere in Colorado. Got permission, and we hike out. It was probably, we drove a couple miles out on the prairie. And then we hiked out to the spot because we couldn't drive right up to the spot, and we ended up finding the damn thing.
Yeah.
So
that's always fun, man. You know,
well, yeah.
It's like finding gold in a creek. Like you do all the research, you go out there, you're needle in a haystack, you scan all around, you're kind of looking at each other like, man, it's got to be right here. And then somebody stumbles on something, and you're like, oh, here a lot of iron.
Took us a little bit to find it, but we found it, and then we got on some stuff, and the heat just it got to me. And I knew we had a good hike back to the truck, and then we had a good drive out. So but
you got
at least we know where it's at now.
Let's bring Jeff in. We'll talk about he goes out in the heat a lot too, and I'm sure he's got some takes on that as well.
He's a cool cat. He doesn't dig in heat.
He doesn't get hot because he's cool. He's cool.
All right,
cat.
Let's bring this guy in. Welcome,
Sir Jeff Lubbert.
Hello.
Not really. Not a guess. No, it's not Monday. It's not Thursday. Y'all, I'm gonna have that damn. You know what? We'll do this. We'll just hit this every time.
You got that one fired up at least.
Oh boy.
That one. Yeah, that one's on the quick button.
Talk amongst yourselves. I gotta adjust this camera.
All right, Mr. Jeff Lubbert.
Mr. Tony.
Thanks for coming on and spending some time with us on Wednesday night. And it was just kind of fitting. You know, the show's titled We Go to Hollywood, and it's kind of our appearance on Expedition Unknown and
coming up.
The trio of us. So, it's kind of fitting. I really do appreciate your time. You know, you're on Monday nights always with American Digger Magazine and their live podcast as well. So and we'll put the link for everything for American Digger in the show description and in the live chat here too.
And for those that don't know, Jeff's also a member of Eureka Treasure Hunters Club with Tony and I. Numerous president roles over the numerous years you've been. How long you been with Eureka these days?
We were thinking, trying to figure that one out. It was either 1998 or 1999. I joined the club, and since then I've been president like 3 or 4 times, vice president a couple, 2-3 times, newsletter editor, board member probably 6 times.
Bottle washer. He was bottle washer this one.
Oh yeah.
Term.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because, you're in the room. By far my favorite president of Eureka.
By far.
You've only known
my favorite vice president.
I've only known 2. So.
Oh, okay.
No.
So Jeff, tell us, how is the weather today in Hollywood?
Ooh.
Well, I tell you what, the weather out here is just, it's getting to be a little bit warm. It's about 60 degrees here in Hollywood. Yeah. I think we're having a high of 72, maybe by the weekend.
Hills are on fire. Bam. Oh man. So you guys can kind of see already how this kind of goes whenever we get together.
We do have a good time.
We haven't hunted together in quite a while.
Yeah,
Maybe
I know. I need to get you guys out to a spot.
Yeah.
You know what the last time was that we hunted together?
Mhm.
I think it was October of last year.
Yeah, when we did expedition.
Yeah, it would be.
Besides Rush to the Rockies, of course. I mean, Ken and I didn't hunt. But you know.
Well, that was one of those ones where wasn't really planning on hunting, but I did anyway, and
yeah,
I wore myself out.
That was a good event.
That was hot too, boy. Out there, people were getting really weathered by the heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was moving from shade canopy to shade canopy that whole weekend because it was a scorcher.
But then there you are out there, masters of metal, getting second by one stinking point.
1 point.
1 point.
1 point.
And it's something as simple as a stupid brass washer.
Yeah, the washers what got us.
It killed us.
And
man.
no fault of Cindy's at all.
Not at all.
That was a killer spot.
Digging fool there. She was showing that she was a skilled detectorist, and
she dug 20 some targets without finding one that she wanted. And Ken and I, by pure luck, dug one and found the designated relic that we had to find. So
we were in that third field in a matter of minutes.
I mean, I was one of the judges, and I literally, they blew the whistle. I seen Tony bend down. I was 20, 30 yards away. I was like, I got it. I'm like, why? You're kidding me. Go running over this
luck, man.
And say yes, go ahead. Number 2, I think that was you, Ken. Right?
And he first target he found his.
Yeah, and I didn't get to judge that one because I was busy looking at field 1. So
yeah, right. Hey, Copper Joe's in the chat. Jeff, he says, good to see you in Colorado.
Wow, yeah, Copper Joe, how you doing, my friend? Gosh, it was good to see him at Rush too.
Let me see. I got something from Copper Joe. You got something from Copper Joe over there, Tony?
I do. Detect SD. Jason's also in the chat. Says, hey Tony, Jason. He joined us at Rush to the Rockies.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here. I've got since Joe's here, and Ken and I both. I got to tell you. So Joe shows up. We saw Joe previous Rush, great supporter of the podcast and everything. Comes over to us, starts talking to us, and I think this was at the end of the weekend. He came over with a little bag, and he gave Ken and I something pretty incredible. I think it's pretty incredible. In fact, I got more choked up than I really thought I ever would. This, I mean, I had to walk away for a second, go over to the truck, but Ken and I both got a picture from Joe of the previous Rush to the Rockies.
Yeah.
And it's got myself, Joe, Ken, and Dwight.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Great picture.
He made this up for us, put them in a frame, and kind of brought it over to us. And out of the whole weekend, like that, it was so emotional for some reason. Just having Joe there and meeting friends, across the country and sharing a weekend with each other. And then, years later, coming back together, another Rush to the Rockies, like it was an incredible weekend. And, I loved seeing Joe's wife there. Forgive me, I've forgotten her name.
I'm horrible with names, so I can't help you.
Seeing Joe and him coming over and just it was fantastic. So I want to thank Joe again. We thanked him obviously in person, but wanted to show that out on live as well. So
yeah, I mean, and
very, very cool time.
Yeah, Joe and I were sitting there. Oh, we got to get a picture. And next thing you know, I have to dash off to go do some announcements or run over to the mine lab, thing to go do some judging. And it was just, it was tough to try and get one, but we finally managed to get a picture.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Joe also held the record for most unique experience Tony and I have ever had on a live stream broadcast before.
Yes.
We're broadcasting live from Rush to the Rockies. Some people have heard this story. Some people haven't. We're broadcasting live from Rush to the Rockies out there at our table. We have our tent up, and all of a sudden on our live stream, just like a lot of you are right now on the side in the chat group, somebody pops on our live stream named Michelle, and she goes, "Hey, where are you guys at in Colorado or in Kiowa? Where are you guys at in Kiowa?" And we're like, "Oh, we're kind of, up on this hill. Yeah, are you in Kiowa?" And she goes, "I have one of your participants here, and he can't find he can't find the event. He needs to know how to get to the event." And so,
no, literally, where, what field are you in? What's your
field?
Location? What's your address?
So I can send him there. And so she didn't say it was Joe. We didn't know who it was. So we told her, and I was just like tripping out that she was able to find us on our live stream broadcasting live at that moment to ask about a participant to come up. And then later we find out it's Joe.
Yeah.
Joe had stopped at a realtor's office because he saw it was open, went in and said, "Hey, we're here for this event. We have we don't have any idea where to go. Do you know where it's at?" And then he was probably mentioning us. And so it told her to get on YouTube that we were broadcasting live or something. So funny. So funny. Tony and I are looking at each other going, "What?"
Yeah. How does that happen?
Going to a realtor is actually kind of brilliant. Things that, she probably knows a lot of the people around there, if not everybody. And
that
was
pretty smart.
Yeah,
it was very smart move.
Yep. We got Jason Detect SD up there on the screen right there. The three of us.
Yep. Jason, I don't know if you've seen it, but Mind Lab has put out a few videos about their time in Kiowa, and I think you're prominently featured on both videos that I've seen so far. So make sure you go over there and check that out, Jason.
It was.
We saw them on Facebook and Instagram, so check those out.
Yep.
Yeah, and literally just go to the Mind Lab Facebook page and look them up on Instagram if you have it. And there's a couple of really nice videos there. So
yeah.
And Jason Rowe with Diggin has been looking to get a hold of you over there in South Dakota. So if you still have her contact info, reach out. I know you've kind of been away for a little while, but welcome back to reality. If you're back to reality.
Yeah. He was gone. Like,
just like Super Troopers.
Gone. You boys like Mexico?
Hey, got to say hi to my friend Bill Hayes too. I see he's out there.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah. Let's look and see who we have in the chat there. Bill. Red Pants. Bill.
Mr. Red Pants. Exactly.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Bill. Thanks for popping on. And
you spent some time with Bill not too long ago.
I did. Yeah, I did. I tell you, and we had him as a guest here on the show, and the stories that he has. Like, you guys go back and watch the whole episode of Bill Hayes on the Relics Radio, and who that guy is times 10 is who he is in person, because he is just an absolute riot. The history, the years of stories and adventures and relics, and and quick as a whip too, man.
Yeah.
And actually the two Bills together, that was quite the experience. Very, very happy to spend some time with those guys, and very cool.
It's one of those states I have not dug in yet, is Ohio. So I got to get there.
There's nothing there.
I keep hearing there's nothing there. That's what they keep telling me.
So no big loss, Jeff.
Well, seems like everywhere I go, the relics go running and hiding. So,
nice.
I feel the same way, man. But hey, you know what doesn't hide from Jeff Lubbert?
What's that?
Rings.
Oh,
rings correct. Do not hide from Jeff Lubbert. Matter of fact,
Jeff's joining us because rings don't hide from him.
That's exactly right.
Luckily, I had a ring search earlier today, and luckily I spent enough time behind my computer last night that I didn't have to work all day today. So went out and did a ring search, and I don't know, probably took a half an hour to find it. So I was fortunate enough, because it was a big lot with a house on it, and it literally was hiding in the rocks. Trekked the front yard, and then you get in the big river rock, the stuff that's this big around. Those have a fair amount of mineralization in them, and you get them out of the Colorado River. So not the easiest thing to find, and it was hiding in the rocks.
No kidding.
Well, good. Congrats.
Thanks.
What number ring is that in your career? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not. I do.
You know, dollar amount though.
You've got
How about
dollar
this?
amounts. So.
I'm pushing the $1.1 million in returned items.
Ooh.
So
that's a lot of items returned.
That's only 2 rings.
Yeah, no, one of them was worth 1 million. The other one was worth 100,000. He's really only found 3 rings in his lifetime, and one was a Cracker Jack ring. But the other 2 were out of this world.
Killers.
You had a big one, right? You had a one that was worth a chunk of money, right? You able to share that or not?
Well, it was well into 6 figures. Let's put it that way. And it had a 5-carat diamond. 5-carat diamond. We're talking, you get above 2 carats and prices go up exponentially.
5 carats, about the size of your fist.
Yeah. And it was a high grade 5-carat. It wasn't just a crappy one. It was severely clear and great color. And then it had 30 other diamonds and probably about 3/4 ounce of gold.
Wow.
So
very nice.
Yeah, that was a substantial hunk of ring. And it was one of the ones where I searched the yard for 2 hours and did not find it. She came out as I was going into the house going, I searched the whole area, searched to and from the house, both directions around the house in case you went either way. Nothing. She's like, there was a friend that was in the house that night. They seen the ring. And this is her exact words. The ring is so big and ostentatious that she took note and commented on it.
Oh, geez.
It's one of her friends that said that.
Wow.
So the ring was in the house somewhere. And they said they searched it. They ripped the house apart 3 times already. And I said, well, you know what? I'm here now. And if you want me to search the house, just another set of eyes, but I go into it non-emotional. Well, as people that lose a ring, they're usually emotional when they search, and they jump over here, and then they jump over there instead of going through it piece by piece by piece. Mm-hmm. And I went through her garbage in her bathroom, her garbage in her bedroom, in her bed. I mean, I was literally like in between the sheets, in between the mattresses, in the pillow, in her dresser, because she said she did laundry. And I was like, did laundry. So I literally pulled everything out of her dresser and literally piece by piece pulled it out, folded it all back up, put it back in. Ended up finding it in her clothes hamper that had a false bottom.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
And they said they'd been in that clothes hamper like 5 times already.
But it had a false bottom in it.
It had a false bottom that I pulled up and took a look, and there it was.
Jeez.
So
it got down under it somehow.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where I came walking up. It was like an hour and a half later of me starting to search, and I literally had it on my hand. Kind of like I put it on my finger, kind of like that. And I came up and I started scratching my chin. And she immediately turned around and said, "Oh, I know you didn't find it." She was crying. And I'm up there behind her, just rubbing my chin. And she finally turns around and sees it, and she just bursts out into tears. And, promised me the world.
I've seen some good returns where they find it and they put it on their finger. And they're like, "Okay, where'd you find it? Over there?"
Yeah, where'd you lose it?
Was it over there again?
Where did you lose it? Was it over there?
I use a lot of times I'll try and let the owner come and pick it up for the first time, unless they're not there. Even there's been times when I've just put the machine down and walk over and say, "Hey, I need you to come and look at something," and let them be the one to pick it up.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
It's just something I try to do. I've kind of gotten that way over the years that I like to do it that way.
Yeah.
So
who else we got in the chat, Tony? We kind of interrupted that. We got sidetracked on that.
Yeah. Let me jump back in here. Who was I looking for? I wanted to say Bob Rose.
Hello, Bob.
Joining us from Indiana.
All right.
The Hoosier State.
The Hoosier State.
That's right.
Hoosier Daddy. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Tim Ildigger.
Hello, Tim.
He had said, good evening, Mr. Ken, and good evening to the rest of the dirty money lovers that'll be here soon. He's always got a dirty money lover comment.
He does, absolutely.
Let's see, who am I missing here? Oh, Relic Jedi is joining us tonight.
Hello.
Good
morning.
Morning.
That button. Nice button.
East Idaho Digger.
Yep.
Welcome on. Hey, how about Nick from Thin Blue Diggers? Spent some time digging with Nick a couple weekends ago.
Excellent.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, I was jealous,
That was-
man. You were digging with the Bills and Nick. And
I know.
Don.
I hit everybody. Ohio History Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I touched everybody there. That was great.
Hey, now.
FLX detector. Oh, not like that. FLX detectorist.
He's always touching
Moving
everybody.
on.
You gotta stay away from that dude.
Metal detecting NC.
Hello, Mike. Good to see
Here's
you.
one.
What's that?
Linda Erickson.
Linda Eric.
Wow. Hey, Linda.
That's a name
Welcome on, Linda.
I'm familiar with.
You know, we were talking
My
about
name
how there's nothing left in. Actually, that's kind of funny. Nick says there's nothing left in Ohio. Going back to what we were talking about, Detect SD says, yeah, the Bills cleaned it out. And then Linda pipes in and says, no, we found good things in Ohio.
Ixnay on the
He's ratting them out.
highway, or how do you say it? Yeah. Hey, I want to say hi to
Whoops.
Heavy Metal Digger.
There you
Hell
go.
Metal Detectors, Kentucky. Good to see you.
Very cool. How about Rat? Relic
Round and round. What comes
recovering
around?
artifacts together.
Am I aging myself?
Yeah, you are. Nobody listens to Rat.
Oh, I do.
Hey, I remember when Rat and Poison were on tour together.
Yes. I went
Oh,
to
yeah?
that concert. Absolutely.
Yep. So did I.
Yep.
80 what?
Shoot. Probably
84.
84.
I was going to say 3.
So I'll reminisce on that concert a little bit. I was partying my butt off with a bunch of wild, crazy guys, and they played at this place called Manteca Water Slides. And they kind of had, it was a big fair type thing. And they had a bungee tower. And my friends guilted me into doing bungee cord diving the day after a night of heavy partying.
Oh, geez.
This does not sound like it's going to end well.
No.
And that was at the Poison Rat. Who else was there? Maybe Dawkin concert.
I know you're a metalhead at heart. I know
Hey.
you are.
I'm a master of metal.
Oh, you're a metal.
metal.
Masters of metal.
I'm a master of metal.
Yeah. Well, so did everything stay down that needed to stay down? I mean, if we're all kind of hungover, this is the day after.
It did for a little while. I can tell you, it did for a little while. I made it through
For a little
made
while.
it through the launch, and made it through the getting me off the airbag and all that stuff, but didn't last much longer.
I've only done that bungee stuff one time. And that was in New Zealand.
Did you go off a bridge
wow.
and stuff, like tied to your ankles and all that stuff?
It was over a canyon. It's the third highest in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Free fall of 447 feet.
Okay. There
Yeah.
you go. You've done it once.
Did it once.
Okay. I've skydove. How about that? I went skydiving one
Okay.
time. I got done. I would absolutely do it again.
Where did you do that at? Did you do that here in Colorado or?
No, I went to Vegas. So my wife's 40th birthday, I took her to Vegas. Went to a couple shows, went to some high-end like buffet type things, and she wanted to go skydiving. So we booked it and went, and both of us, the exact same feeling about it, would do it again. In fact, she went back a couple years later at my daughter's 21st birthday, took my daughter and a couple of her friends out to Vegas, and the four of them went skydiving without me. Yeah. Talk about a little bit of stress here in Colorado on myself. I got my wife, my daughter-in-law, and my daughter's friend, and they're all out in Vegas by themselves and going skydiving. Yeah.
Wow.
Shoot.
I was like, check in with me every 30 seconds. I need a text.
Did you just say you went skydiving?
Yeah.
Did you go Rocky Mountain climbing?
I have, yes.
Okay.
And I went 3.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu.
Did you? That was my next question. How did you know?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Tim McGraw.
I had to
Hey,
say
real
that.
quick, I want to also mention Brandon Townsend.
Hello, Brandon.
Sat with us tonight
Good to see you, man. Welcome.
from Eureka.
Yeah, from Eureka.
So thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Yeah.
I thought there was a couple more people.
Doesn't every time we say Eureka, we got a drink? Isn't that the new drinking game we play here on Relics Radio?
Well, hold it, wait. I wasn't told that one.
I already drank what I had to drink. Nah. So why are we here? Why are we here? What are we here about?
I was thinking, why don't we talk about this?
A blurry picture?
Is it blurry?
It's getting
there. It is.
There we go. Another bottle of whiskey. Is that what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, there's that down there. We're gonna cover that up.
So who are these people?
Well, we've got a lot of people that we realize there's a lot of people in the background that make things happen in Hollywood.
Yeah,
this is
we gotta first and foremost, let's just talk about the crew. You guys remember how many?
We've been doing a lot of promotion of this, and I can't imagine there's no one that doesn't know what we're talking about. But you want to kind of put that into context?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, this is the production crew and a few. I think there's a landowner, a former landowner there as well.
Some archaeologists,
two archaeologists and husband. And then I think all the rest are probably production crew, right?
Yep. We got some kind of like on-site producer guys, some camera guys. This guy right here.
He was the bag carrier. He was the bag carrier guy. Carried everyone's bags for them.
The audio guy.
He's the audio guy. Usually the coolest guy on a set.
The coolest guy of any crew is the audio guy, I tell you.
Yeah. Well, this is the production crew for Expedition Unknown. It's a show that's on Discovery Channel. I believe it's going into its 15th year.
It's his 15th season.
15th season.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's been around a while. I know I've watched it from early on in this show. I mean, before there was other shows. I mean, Josh produces other shows, Expedition X and
Files.
He spun that off into good for him, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you sit there and watch the show, it's interesting to me that you're thinking, here's Josh, he's the archaeologist running around the globe, and
right,
probably just Joe, Mr. Fancy Pants and all that. No, this guy is out there working his hiney off and actually producing out there in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Right. From our experience with the UK film crew we did with Ramsey Studios, we thought he'd come pulling up in a
expedition or suburban
and get out, and they'd put his shirt on him and give him his hat, and he'd have three people like putting makeup on him and dusting off his hat and giving him his call sheets for the day, and not only no, but hell no.
not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close to what Josh his contribution, participation in the entire process.
Yeah, what'd you think of that, Jeff?
Yeah, he did not just show up just to be on TV. He was showing up to actually, get shit done and actually, like I said, he was producer. I was actually truly surprised that he was actually like, all right, you guys come over here from that angle.
Mm-hmm.
When we found stuff, or if we found stuff and we wanted to record it, it's like, all right, now you guys actually watch from over that angle. So go back over there so we can reposition the cameras, because once again, this is production, Hollywood production. So yes, we did actually truly find items. Nothing was planted. And then when they came over to film it, it was,
how it went down.
Yeah. Then it went Hollywood. Let's film it from a different angle. Now let's film it let's get the drone up. Let's do the drone, and it's just, there was all that going on. And Josh was the one that directed all of that.
Complete direction. Yeah.
It was such a fine-tuned crew as well. And I want to give some credit to the crew. Like you said, Josh was, quarterbacking essentially everything. And he'd say, so-and-so, and forgive me, I forgot the names of all the crew out, but he says, are you on the 3? Yeah. Are you over here? Are you, you're on the single. Okay. Are you getting from above? And the crew was kind of anticipating how he wanted it.
Yes.
But they were all working together, and it was it was so inspiring. I tell you, I know Ken and I talked right as we were leaving. We're like, if we only had a production crew, do you know what kind of videos we could produce for YouTube? These guys were so phenomenal. And we've spent time at the end talking to them, talking about, okay, for your idea for this type of shot, what do you guys do? Oh, we have this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, we're shaking our heads. We're taking all this information in because it was so incredible to see how it was produced. Right. And we're, and next week we're going to see how the final cut looks.
Yeah, because that's one thing none of us know.
No idea, not a clue. We've never seen it.
We filmed all day. I mean, it was a long day.
We're all excited to see it, but we all may be completely disgusted once we do. Right. And that's we
may not even be in it. I don't know.
That's the chance you take, man, with all this stuff. What the camera guys tell us, because Tony's right. We were talking to the camera guys, the main camera guys were like, we do this YouTube stuff, and they were like, they were all about it, and they were just like, shoot, shoot, shoot. Shoot.
Too much is best.
Film you putting on gloves, film you walking, film the ground, film the sky, film your knee pads, film this, film that. Just film everything. Film 8 times as much as you think you're going to need. And I don't know about you guys, but I just watched the first episode of season 15, the new season that's out now.
Yep.
And when I watched it completely as like a creator to see when they were using B-roll, how they used B-roll, how they used audio and music, how they used narration, and when they showed action and all that stuff. And in my mind, since I've been through this process now, I'm thinking, wow, how much stuff didn't they show? How much stuff didn't they edit in? You know what I mean?
How much hit the old phrase, how much, hit the cutting room floor?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's because you sit there and look at it. We actually had 3 or 4 cameras filming for, it wasn't all day, that they weren't filming every swing that we did. But they were busy filming. And, if there was, let's just say we were filming for 8 hours, which we probably filmed for more. I don't remember exactly, when the crew actually showed up and when we finished and all that, it seemed like it flew by in a minute. But when you start looking at 3 or 4 different cameras and a drone and, they're filming, it's 5 minutes at a crack or 2 minutes at a crack. But it's 3 or 4 different cameras, so that's 3 or 4 times. That's 8, a lot of time in different angles. And who has a better angle? Oh, this one has a little bit of shadow. That one doesn't. Okay, let's go with that. And then dubbing in your audio, and wow, I mean, just the thought.
I do want to interject real quick, and you did touch on it, but I wanted to kind of add a little bit and emphasize this. It's come through my social media here recently how Hollywood Expedition Unknown is. And, you did say it before, and I want to reiterate it. Nothing that the 3 of us were involved in was planted, planned beforehand type of thing. All the finds that we found were absolute wild finds. Nothing was planted at all. We did go through and kind of listen to what we thought were good tones prior to, so we could get as much footage of us digging as we could, but we didn't plant. We didn't, none of that stuff was ever done with the 3 of us. Now we do know it is Hollywood. It is a production. It is entertainment. But for our involvement, 100%, I can attest. I know the other 2 will back me up.
100%.
It was all live. We were real people. We were real finds, and we had a really good time. So I just wanted to throw that out there just one more time, because my social media kind of had some of that rumblings going on, and I addressed it on there as well. But I wanted to make sure that I put it out here as well. So
for what we know of, only our experience was 100% genuine.
Absolutely,
hunting. It was
We're on an amazing property that we probably wouldn't have gotten access to. We were looking for things that we could find, some things we were looking to find, and we would find those things. Like, it wasn't, all 3 of us were just off and running. We were in different directions most of the time.
They were.
And then when there would be a hit, the camera crew would come running.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, and Josh was out there detecting right alongside of us.
Yes,
he was fantastic.
Proficient with him.
He almost beat me out to the field. He grabbed his Equinox, and he almost got out ahead of me. I was like, no, I'm going to beat you out there. But
well, that's because you tripped him.
I hope that didn't hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
No, Ken, do you want to read kind of the so I guess talk about the episodes coming out next Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025 on Discovery Channel.
Mhm.
And as far as we know, a perfect description of it hasn't been put out yet.
No.
But Ken has scout. I mean, he's a sleuth. He found some information about the episode. And do you want to read that so they kind of understand maybe the gist of what the episode is?
Yeah, and this also kind of gives us a little bit of hint on how
it's going to be edited.
how things are edited and how editing sometimes changes up some things. But we're really interested to see how the editing is going to be.
Yes.
We really don't know. But our episode, it says Josh is traveling to the Wild West, where Josh Gates will investigate the mysteries of a renowned hunter and showman, Buffalo Bill Cody, and the conspiracy surrounding the location of his final resting place. So that's how they're right now on some sites promoting the episode.
There we go.
So investigating the mysteries of renowned hunter and showman Buffalo Bill Cody and the conspiracy surrounding the location of his final resting place. So that's how they're promoting it. It's going to be interesting to see how they put that out. I think, so what, tonight there's the second episde happening tonight?
Yes.
Over on Discovery. The lions, the killer lions, right?
Killer lions.
To me, I'm interested to see what they're going to do on that episode. I mean,
what is that going to be?
Yeah, I mean,
it's all about the story surrounding Ghost in the Darkness, right? Man-eating lions that killed as many as 135 railroad workers in 1898. So you can, he's kind of investigating that. And so, if you go watch that episode, you'll hear what Jeff's talking about. Like, they did a lot of filming. They probably went to that location. They interviewed a lot of people about the stories they've heard from way back then. Some pictures that people have probably, but how much can you do about that? It happened so long ago. But you'll see how, not the magic of Hollywood, but the magic of this production company and this team will put together an entertaining show that has been on for 15 seasons. You know what I mean? So
and this one that they're doing tonight, I don't know that there's artifacts for them to find. I know that over the history of his show, that's been a big portion of the show is they're finding stuff, that relates to that subject, whatever it might be that night. Yeah. And maybe they're gonna, who knows what they're gonna find during this? But it's, once again, you got a production crew, but I don't know. Did they take the whole production crew of like 12 people over there?
Did they release a bunch of lions and see?
Yeah. I mean, you got to replicate it for Hollywood.
You got to do it.
There obviously wasn't footage from the 1898.
Yeah.
So Jordan Doucette said, are we able to talk about subject of the episode? Probably not anymore right now, Jordan, than what we just did, because it's out on public that's how they're describing the episode in a lot of their promotion. So that's about all we can talk about.
I mean, all of us did sign, NDAs.
Yep.
Which is a non-disclosure agreement, which means we can't truly discuss this episode until it does air.
Right.
So,
but
we can get around at it. We can talk about the production crew and Josh and what we did and how that it was 100% legitimate finds.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one thing I will say that I thought was amazing is the Josh that you see on TV. That was Josh.
It was Josh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's no pretentious anything with that.
That's one of the questions that I think a lot of people have asked, on social media as we've been putting that out was, how is Josh? They all want to know, how is he in real life? And
what you see on TV,
this picture right here, kind of to me, I see it as that kind of summing up how it was. So a relic was found, and to be accurate, and in the production of the show, we jumped on our phones real quick to try to identify
a proper
imprint. Yeah, and
we all had our ideas,
right? Of course. And the producer is over here. Jeff is looking at that one. Ken's looking at his phone. Josh is on his phone as well.
Yeah, he's not
And he
texting.
pulled it
He's
out.
not surfing Facebook.
Oh, he's not.
He's not on IG.
Um,
We all compare
everybody
what we
jumped-
just found, and
yeah.
then the
It was
phones would go away, and
absolutely
then
real.
he'd be like, "All right, let's start up with this, blah blah blah," straight back into directing.
And his excitement for finds was real.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was.
you see it on TV, and yes, that excitement was real. I mean, before the cameras get there, people are like running over. It's like, oh, look at this, it's like,
Yeah.
And he was as excited as you were or I was of finding stuff. And
Yep.
Yeah.
I was about 10 feet from him, and he found an item. And I was after my own items, we were all just doing it. It's not like anything was really set up. Camera crew was kind of following him at the moment because he was doing some stuff. But he found an item, and he's like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh my gosh!" And he said something about the item. It caught my attention. I looked over at him. He looked over at me, just like you and your buddies would out detecting.
Yeah.
It's like big
1000%.
expression look on his face, like. And then he'd go, "Ken, come here. Look, you know what I mean? Like, is that what I think it is? Am I seeing that correctly?" And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh," it was just like you're out with your buddies getting excited over something cool that was found,
Yeah. And the place where we were at, there was, it's a historic location.
Mm-hmm.
There was historic items found, and believe it or not, there actually was things like pull tabs also found. We didn't put those on film, but
Actually, we don't know what the edit's going to show.
We don't.
But here's the thing that Jeff was just talking about, like so many cameramen, so many different stuff going on. And he said they weren't filming the entire time, and he's right. But in the times that they weren't being directed to film by Josh, they'd be out catching B-roll and footages of the sagebrush or whatever it was. And one time, one of the cameramen was near me, and I was digging a target, and it was a piece of crap, like a wah, wah, wah. And I thought maybe they need some of that. So I go, "Hey, Joe," I said, "Hey, do you want to get a wah, wah, wah moment?" You know what I mean? And he's like, he comes over, he goes, "Okay." And he goes, "Show me what you got." And I still had it in my hand. It was down low, but I kind of looked up and I kind of went, wah, wah, wah. And he zoomed in on it. And who knows if they're going to use stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, they filmed it all as much as they could. And we'll just have to wait and see, what that comes out. I think we all had pretty good exposure to
we all three had some good finds
that were worthy of making the episode.
Right.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that. Heavy Metal Detectors in Kentucky has kind of a write-up about this show. Josh investigates Wild Bill's homestead and scraps around to find
Grandma's brooch.
That is exactly what it's about. It's called Expedition Unknown, Grandma's
Brooch Edition.
Yeah. Wild Bill's Grandma's Brooch.
They also had another question real quick. 2 quick questions. What did you find? And did they feed you good food? I think it's a great question.
Great food. Great question.
I think we can answer maybe one of those.
One of those.
Well, I could answer number 1. What did I find? Found a great time. Met some great landowners. Amazing landowners. We'll talk about that a little further.
Yeah.
And found a new appreciation for this Hollywood celebrity that was nothing what I thought he would be, especially after our experience with the UK film crew that we were in.
Absolutely.
Let's say,
I would second that. And so how about the food? Jeff, tell us about the food.
Hey, they brought us some fantastic sandwiches and drinks and was it chips as well. And we all sat around and chewed the fat with the landowner, and they took us in the house and showed us around. And
my God, that was amazing.
I mean, that was a great lunch. I mean, they were
awesome
really good sandwiches.
So if you're talking kind of like off the cuff, I mean, I think it was a local sandwich shop. I mean, they came around to each person and said, "Hey, here's a menu. What do you guys want to order?" Ordered it for us, went down to the shop, had it made special for you, came in a bag with your name on it. And the thing that I want to kind of like, we're talking about like Josh being in general. Josh got a sandwich in a bag with us. comes in a
Nothing
box,
special.
right? They're pulling the sandwiches out. Everybody grabs their sandwiches. Like you said, we're sitting on the front porch in rocking chairs around the picnic table. Josh Gates is sitting there. The landowners are sitting there. Production crew's sitting with us. Camera guys next to you. And we're, like you said, chewing the fat, shooting the shit, just talking about life, talking about history, talking about passion.
Yeah. Josh noticed Jeff necklace and was asking him about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Had that connection.
It was. You talk about how things are away from the camera, and that is the memory that sticks with me, being away from when the cameras are off. I'm sitting next to Josh in a rocking chair, and we're just talking about whatever in the world was the topic at that moment.
It wasn't that great. I mean, it
was incredible.
That's great. I mean, it seemed like nothing more than just a bunch of friends sitting around, and
that, honestly, I mean, that's the three of us. That's what makes our hobby so awesome. We love digging with each other. We love, giving each other the business when you find something, but so excited and happy when another one finds an incredible relic.
Yep.
And that's how it was. Like, he fits just right in. And I will say also, Ken had touched on it. He didn't pull up in a Suburban with a driver and his own, powdering his nose. He shows up in his own truck, driving his own truck, pulls into the driveway, window down, waving at us with a big old smile, pulls up, just hops out. He's one of the guys. He's loves history, loves relics. It's all about the quest for the find. I mean, and the story behind the find, and and it's not just about this great, amazing, extremely valuable find. No, it's the little things and the story behind how that got here and why is that here, and things like that. I mean, he was truly interested in that kind of stuff. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you see Detect SD's question? He said, "Can you talk about what happens to the finds?"
Yes. I think we could.
Yeah.
Well, we
can't really talk about what we found, but what happened to.
Yeah.
Once again, we didn't keep anything. This is one of those ones where, I believe everything went back to the landowner, if I remember right.
Landowner kept it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, this is.
To which, the landowners, and I wanted to absolutely speak about the landowners in a, Ken said we're going to do it later. Incredible people. There wasn't a person in the area that put me off at all. The landowners were hospitable, accommodating, social, all about the history. And in fact, they knew probably more about the history of their land than I mean, obviously I didn't know it. And so, Jeff, can you tell maybe a little bit about the house ish? Because they took us inside the house and showed us the house. They renovated the house, and
it was an older house from the late 1800s. Obviously wooden framed, great porch on it.
Great porch.
Yeah, and it wasn't a hugely fancy house by any means. It was a decent house back in the day, and it's a beautifully restored house now. I mean, to look at that house, I was like, this is beautiful, and the interiors, and yeah, it was a pretty special place, I thought. And
Ken, do you remember the light that she had on the end table?
Yes, she had this light on the end table.
Oh, yeah.
It was clear, and it was completely filled with square nails of the building that was there, the original building. Now, there was a lot of the original building that was still there, and they've completely refurbished it, but they tried to reuse as much as the original materials as they could. And when they couldn't use the materials, like all these square nails, they did stuff like that. Like they put in this huge glass globe of this table lamp, giant, really, kind of, 16 inches by 16 inches or something like that. It was just filled chock full of killer square nails, and she was showing us some of the original wallpaper that was there originally.
Yes, that was awesome.
How they've kind of put that into the house and melded that into their design and stuff. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, and this story came from one of the original, I don't want to say original owners, but the gentleman that used to live at this property. I don't know if he contacted them, or, the production company, and said, "Hey, here's a story, and you guys can, like to have you come out and investigate this. And then they talked with the existing landowner, and it just all kind of came together. And hearing the stories from the gentleman that grew up, in his youth at this house, and he spent all this time looking for items in the yard, but he always wanted to do the metal detecting part and do the searching part. He never had the opportunity back in his day.
Yeah,
so that was kind of cool.
It was. The landowners were
awesome.
It was so fun, and really kind of moved me how excited they were. They were so excited to have this going on their property. They were so excited to meet every single person that was up there. They were just, I can't even explain it. Like, they were just smiles the entire time, very inviting, very welcoming. Come over here, sit down, eat your lunch over here. Here, move, honey, get over here. You know what I mean? Like, they were just like so cool. He was telling us about, like, oh, he had that big bell hanging on the top of that one barn. He was telling me all about the bell. We heard all about their life story, like what he did for a living coming up. And, for most of his, he's retired now, but really, really, really cool. I can still see their smiles. You showed it in that group photo. In between filming, they come along, they'd walk around, they'd come up and pat your back.
Water.
Yeah. How are you doing? Do you need some water? You guys okay? Like, right. Yeah. So they were amazing. So the landowners to the right of Josh Gates, tall man with the blue shirt, and his wife is right in front of Tony. I think her name was Jan, and his name was Phil. I forget. But yeah, they were amazing. And you see those smiles. Those smiles weren't just for the camera. That was the smiles they had all day long. They were just walking around, checking on, making sure everybody was cool and having fun. And even when we left, right, they were just like, please come back. Please come back. Oh my gosh. Even if you guys are up here with your wives and just going to come in the area, come on by. We'll have a barbecue. We'll cook some burgers. We'll, hang out. Like, you guys are welcome to come back by here and do some more detecting and all that stuff. It was just very
meeting incredible people all the way around.
Yeah.
100% positive experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I see that Lurker Troy has a question. How many properties did you all search? We actually had 2 of them lined up to go search, but we were finding enough stuff on that one property that we stayed there all day.
Yeah, we stayed there all day.
Yep. And that just really shows to the quality of detectorists that these 2 guys are. And I just kind of like rode on their coattails. No, Ken and I, we've told some stories working with archaeologists and things like that. And people are amazed at the amount of targets that we're all able to uncover in such a short period of time that relate to, what they're looking for. And it happened again, this past October when we were up there, doing this. It was really, really cool. Yeah, there wasn't lack of targets. There wasn't lack of finds for sure. There was definitely enough to make an episode. So we'll see what actually does make the episode, though.
Yeah. Because once again, like I said, we have no idea how it's getting edited. Yep. We have no idea. Oh, Tony, you have 3 minutes on the show. Oh, Ken, you have 5 minutes. Jeff, you have 33 seconds. We don't know that. So we're going to find out the same time everyone else does.
Not appropriate.
Totally appropriate. I love that, Relic Jedi. I just love it. Perfect.
Well, I will say that I had both, Deus 2 and the Manticore up there with me. So
you did. Yep.
And I will say, I remember, we can't release a lot about the episode, but tonight we're kind of talking about behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember Josh, because we're talking about him just being one of the guys, you know what I mean? He looked over and he said, "Hey, Tony," he goes, "how do you like that Manticore, right?" He goes, "How do you like that Manticore? I've been hearing a lot about it, man." Blah, blah, blah. He's thinking about maybe getting one or something. And you were kind of chatting with him about that.
Yeah. Again, just down to earth. He knew what he was doing. Yeah. He probably doesn't have as much time that we get to go out and enjoy the hobby because it's more of a work thing for him. But it wasn't like he was struggling. I tell you that. He had an Equinox, a camera. I think it was the 800 that he had.
Yes.
So, It's not an easy machine to know, and he was not struggling. I'll just say that. Not struggling at all.
I believe the archaeologist and her husband, they had a CTX 3030,
Yep.
and they struggled a little bit, but they were getting the job done. And we did have a local archaeologist there. It wasn't just Josh being the archaeologist, because he is one, but we actually had an archaeologist there on site as well.
Yeah. Yep. Heavy Metal Detectors Kentucky said, so did you go at it looking for high tones or dig everything mentality? Now, be careful, gentlemen, because I think he's being a little bit of a sneaky snake here. Trying to find out exactly what we were looking for, huh? I'm teasing you. Now, what was our mentality, guys, going into that? Without saying what we were looking for.
We knew the premise of what age we're looking for, right? So, as a detectorist, I don't think it's difficult to say you're listening for high tones, because we know that's going to be silver or something, a nice precious metal, an old coin, those kind of different things, of course. But, out here in Colorado, for the age that we were looking for, generally it's mid-tones. You're going to find bullets and buttons, lead, brass. That was kind of the high point of metals during that period. Not to say, you're pretty much digging everything that has a good target, a good sound to it. Yeah. We're definitely not cherry picking.
But they also wanted us to dig the iron, though, too. They wanted us to dig. Empty. They want us to dig some of the iron, and the square nails. It tells a story as well.
Absolutely.
Stuff. So.
Yeah, we were digging everything.
Yep.
Pretty much. Junk, everything. We were digging it all. So it was
and the finds that we did find, we had said that each of us definitely had finds that would be worthy enough to be on, an episode for sure. They varied as well. We each found something different that really kind of fit the time period we're looking for. And I don't want to get into too much details, but what we're looking for, and it wasn't feast or famine. We not for lack of targets. We all dug a lot. We did well.
And it was a long day. We were swinging, all day, literally. So
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, they did put us up in a hotel. So, and Ken and I, oh yeah, that's right. You got up there late that night, the night before. We all chose to have the hotel the night before. So, I'm sure everybody else in the chat would do the same thing. You want to get out to the site as early as you can and get out there and start swinging as quickly as possible. So we chose go ahead.
We also got to that site just to look around to see what we were getting ourselves into.
Yep. Yeah. No idea. Never been there.
Yep. And it was beautiful. We were in the mountains. We can say we were in the mountains. And it was October.
Yep. So if you know anything about Colorado,
things are happening
during
that October in the mountains.
Absolutely.
Yes. Tony and I were, in awe of some of the animals around there.
They were very noisy.
Yes, they were very vocal.
It was beautiful though, man.
We got this. Let's say hi to how do you pronounce Stephanie Hobbs? Yes, Stephanie. Okay.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
They
went facing the northern lights. Yes.
Yes.
It was beautiful. Beautiful the night before.
Yes, Stephanie loves the northern lights, and it's in our plan to go see them sometime. Ooh. And they're actually in a heavy phase that night, and so she actually came up to there, and we went out looking for northern lights, and we actually got some photos.
Good.
Yeah.
I like this comment.
Oh,
we should probably talk about this a little bit. So
I don't have any.
No, but we do. Tony and I both.
What's the story
Stephanie
here?
A bottle of whiskey. She wants to know where it's at. It's coming. Believe me, it's coming. So, Jeff, why don't you go ahead, because it actually all came through you. So why don't you tell the story?
Yeah. How did this all come about?
Well, if I remember right, I was standing in an airport, and I don't remember if I was on my way back from England or where I was on the way back from. I get a phone call. Don't recognize the number. So I let it go to voicemail. thinking, it's probably just a spam call. Yeah, I mean, we all get them,
Sure.
a few times a day anymore. And sure enough, I listened to the message because they did leave a message, and I was like, okay, well then this may be not spam. I don't know. Started listening to it, and one of the first things I hear is, producer for Expedition Unknown. I was like, oh, wait. And I literally had to leave where I was at in the airport because it was noisy, and go find, a quiet area in the airport to go listen to this. And so he was like, this is, I remember it Fitz, right? From Expedition Unknown. Yeah. And he's like, wanting to do an episode out there in Colorado, and, wanted to know if I could be of assistance to help with the episode. And, I was like, okay, this is exciting. I didn't know what to think. I mean, I have done an episode of Forensic Files back in like 2011 or so. So I have done one major series as well, but still, I mean, Expedition Unknown, and it's Josh Gates. It's like, yeah,
Josh Gates.
Excited, yeah.
Gates.
But is this a scam? So I was also still worried about, is this a scam? Someone wanting to get my name and phone number and all that stuff, or, get information on me, because people do that, right? So, I go in and listen to the message, and I was like, wow, is this real? I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to think. And so I called the number back, and sure enough, it's Fitz. And he's like, hey, this is, I forget what his actual true name, but we just call him Fitz, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm with Expedition Unknown, and we want to film an episode, want to know if you could help. And it was like a week and a half away or something like that, if I remember right. It was literally like, we need someone like, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. And I was like, oh, well, I have this thing called work that I have to do. And I was like, and they're like, well, we really appreciate. Uh-oh, did I lose you guys?
No, we're there. You're there.
Okay. I bumped my computer and my screens went away. So I didn't know if my feed also went away.
We can see you there. Hear you.
But anyway, so here I am, and in the middle of the airport, trying to figure out life. So I call up Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie is my girlfriend, and just bounce some ideas off her. And she's like, oh wow, this is exciting, and yada yada yada. And next thing you know, she's like, hey, how about Tony and Ken? They could really help you out, And I was like, oh well, okay. And I was like, all right. So start texting, you guys. And I was like, once again, I'm still not sure if this is real yet or not.
Yeah, right. You want to come get scammed with me, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get scammed together.
We only have to send him $500 by tomorrow night.
But if I remember right, originally it was scheduled for I think Wednesday, Thursday. The next thing you know, it's like, well, it's Thursday, Friday. And then it's like, well, let's just do it on Friday. And so things kind of changed all within a week. I mean, it was like
within a week. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, because I think I was coming back on a Sunday, and then we were supposed to be filming not that coming Friday, but the following Friday.
Yeah.
It was very short time frame, and it was like, okay. So I call up Ken and Tony. It's like, hey, let's see if we can get this works. And yeah.
So we owe it to Stephanie. We definitely said we're going to buy her a bottle of whiskey, because
that's right,
is the one that kind of suggested Tony and I, and without Jeff, thinking of us, and Stephanie thinking of us, we greatly appreciate it. It was definitely a great experience that we'll think back on fondly for many, many years. It was just a great experience though, guys, right? It just was a great experience. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and really to be with, two really good, true friends out there doing this made it, pretty darn special. And it's just one of those things that, it just, the timing of it came together, and I don't know exactly how the stars aligned, but it was pretty
perfect
to be, asked to be part of this and then to share that.
Yeah, it was great, man. Cause it would have been different, right? Like if there was two of us and then somebody we didn't know, or even one of us, or all three people that didn't know each other. You know what I mean? Right. I think it would have been really, different, a different experience.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been the same if it was just, you, Tony, and two random guys, or Ken or, and just, one random guy, whatever, I was like, because I was nervous about that at first too. They're like,
yeah,
did they want me? And they got 2 other guys, I don't know, or 4 other guys or 12 other guys or, no one else. I didn't know I didn't have a lot of details at first, it kind of came through the next week where it's like, oh, well, we're going to do it on Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, well, we're going to do it on Thursday, Friday. Oh, we're going to do it on Friday. Oh, we're going to, we need, 3 of you guys for sure. Oh, if only 2 of you can make it, that'd be great. But, we'd love to have all 3 of you. It's because, so yeah, I mean, we all 3 have real jobs.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And so
stupid work.
It's cutting into the work days are cutting into my days off. I tell you what, I'm gonna have to talk to the manager about this crap.
Yeah. So I mean, it was one of those things where we end up taking some time off work. I do it again.
We skipped a treasure hunters meeting. We all got in hot water for that one.
Yeah, that's all right. It was worth it.
Yeah, because I was president at the time, right?
You were, and you were like integral to the meetings, and you all of a sudden were like, we got something to do because we couldn't really release what it was back then.
No, I mean,
we have something to do. It's kind of once in a lifetime type chance.
Yeah.
So.
And that was truly what it was. Is like we couldn't lead on, but I'm president. Ken, you were running.
I think I was producing somebody as our speaker that night.
Yeah. And so it was a little hairy, but it's one of those things where I felt bad about missing the meeting and not being secretive, but we knew we had to do it. We knew we were going to be signing DNAs.
Yeah.
Or NDAs, I guess.
Yeah.
NDAs.
Closure agreements.
And it hasn't come in the chat yet, but compensation. I'm sure people want to know that in terms of opportunities and situations like that. So in terms of
I got 2,300. How much do you guys get?
I paid off my house.
Oh, you're kidding.
I had enough for an ice cream cone.
No, we're good enough that they said we cannot compensate you. Would you still be willing to do it? We all did it, and then after the fact, again, kind of talking about what kind of people they are, what kind of production it is. They made a donation to our Treasure Hunters Club.
I don't know if they ever actually did that. I don't recall if they did or not.
They did. They did. We got an email from the landowner, or I got an email from the landowner asking for contact info, and I can't remember who all was involved, but they needed contact info, who to make check out to, where to send it, and all that stuff. So they made a contribution to our Treasure Hunters Club.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very nice of them.
Very cool of them to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely helps that all 3 of us are members of that club. So,
Yeah,
it does. Yeah. But that's what I mean. We were talking about all 3 of us being friends and stuff. And it's like, we all, knew each other's integrity, and we're sitting around just chatting about stuff. We've all hunted together enough that we know each other so well that
we trust each other.
We know that, we trust each other. We know the ins and outs. We're able to get together and talk about what was going on that day. You know what I mean? And if it was like, like when Tony and I did the UK show, like they did a lot of campy stuff, right? Where they're like, okay, well, when we ask you if we need to be blindfolded to go to your guys' special spot, we want you to say yes. And then we're going to film you guys leading all these celebrities out in these blindfolds. And it was like, okay, I mean, all right, that's what you want to do. But there's really nothing campy like that being produced or being directed to. I think the only bit of direction it was basically like something like, hey, Ken, what did you just say?
Yeah.
Hey, say that again. Hold on. Joe, come here, Joe, get this up shot, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now say it just like you just said it. You know what I mean? I was like,
and it was a focus on that specific emotion.
That, and they could use it for the show to create an emotional period of time. You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
Yeah, and sometimes we filmed things 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and that's part of production, right?
You remember the intro? So we can't talk too much about it, but you remember the intro when we were all standing there?
We're all
how many times did we film that?
That one did not go over well in Josh's mind. We had to make sure we got that just right.
He's like, okay, now let's try it again, except this time, and you guys look too stiff over here. Just relax, man. Just like you're hanging out.
It was one of the on this word.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And it was just one of the first shots we did in front of the camera. So we were all kind of like, yeah. And he was just like, hey, loosen up, man. Just like you're hanging out.
I wanted to show another pic here, guys. Behind the scenes. Let's see here.
We've been sharing a lot of those lately. You don't think people are sick of them? Like,
no. This was one of the finds, and Ken had his loop with him, and he's checking it out.
I'm asking Josh if my head is sunburnt, and he's just shaking his head. He's like, "Oh my God, dude! Told you to put sunscreen on." No, I'm sorry, I interfered. Go ahead.
No. How many times do we do this in normal activities of a hobby? Like, this is what we do, right? You find something that you want to figure out a date. Stones, if it's jewelry, we want to get in there tight on something, and we pull out the loop, and you're looking at it right in the field. That is exactly what happened when we were out there.
Yeah, I mean, once again, none of these items were planted. These are all natural finds, 100%.
Yep.
We don't know what we're going to find. We have no idea what it is we're going to dig up. So it is what it is. It is.
I gotta mute myself for a second. Yell something up at my wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on.
He didn't see a 5 mile relic hunter.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, this is truly live hunting. We don't know what it is. We don't know, its era at this point in time. We need to do some investigation. We all need to look at it. We need to have an idea. Let's get after it and figure out what it is. And that's, the phones come out. The phones come out. Oh,
phones come out, loops come out.
Phone a friend.
Yep. Phones come out, loops come out, gets passed from hand to hand. Can you identify it? Well, do you see this number here? What does this look like? It's just like detecting with all of our other buddies, out in the middle of Colorado. It's the same exact things that we do every weekend. There was nothing different, except the large crew following us around, which I would love to have myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 100%. That was really
my videos would be incredible if I could get somebody to follow me around with a camera,
or 4 cameras and a drone. You already have the drone.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where we literally, we were doing real detecting. We were doing real detecting. We just happened to have a few people over our shoulders going, "What'd you find this time? What is that?" This weren't, and once again, another pull tab. Oh, a piece of, pop can that got hit by the lawnmower, or
oh gosh,
they're everywhere.
It legitimately was 100% real, with, and I'll throw a twist on it. It may be what am I saying here? Looked at from different angles. I guess I'm not explaining it very well. It was 100% real though. What we were finding, our reactions were, 100% real. So
yeah. And
I wanted to. Ohio Relic Hunter has a great question.
What's up, Bill?
Bill says, "Are you going to have a watch party when the episode airs?"
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are.
Yeah, and Bill said he was going to have it at his house, and we all got to be there an hour before.
He's going to smoke a bunch of stuff. We're coming.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, smoke
ribs and brisket.
A lot of meats on the.
And then we're going to go out. He's got us in a secret spot with a new permission, right?
Yeah.
But
I think they call it the Civil War. What do they call it? The Civil War Plate Foundation. I think they call it something like that.
That's nice.
I like it.
That part of
that. Actually. So yeah, we are planning on having a watch party. So actually, there was 2 things we forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. We're going to be on Quarter Hoarders. Ken, we got to talk about next week real quick. So the episode airs next Wednesday on Discovery. What is it? 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern. Check your cable. We'll do whatever. So
yeah, you can stream it if you're on like Hulu Live. You can stream it if you can get it on Discovery Plus. maybe streaming the next day. There's a bunch of places you can stream it the day after. I think Philo, you can watch it live.
And what that means, though, is we're not going to have a Relics Radio episode that evening. So no show next week on Wednesday because the episode airs next Wednesday. So we forgot to mention that. But in addition to that,
two things. Yeah.
Two things.
Yeah. Because we're going to do a Quarter Hoarder show on Thursday, right?
Yep.
To review the show after it airs so we can talk about things better.
Yes. Quarter Hoarder Live on Thursday, July 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only on Facebook, if I remember right?
Nope. It's on YouTube as well.
Is it on YouTube as well? Okay.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the live version went to YouTube as well. So.
No, he's on both. So Quarter Hoarder Live on Thursday, July 3rd. 3 of us will be on there being able to talk about after the episode airs. We can probably discuss a little bit more about, what we saw, what got cut out.
Yeah. Right.
Probably most importantly, what got cut out, because I've got pictures and videos here I want to show everybody.
Right.
And so we'll see if it's out there or if we have to bring it out to the interwebs.
Yeah.
And then
they're going to be like, Ken, was that your back of your head that I saw in that one shot as the camera was swimming by real quick?
That one right there?
Yeah. That's it. Oh my gosh, look at that.
It was looking a little red right there. Yeah.
Jeez.
Josh is like, what?
Dude.
We're also going to be on Relic Roundup, though, on Monday as well. Pretty much doing what we're doing here, but maybe we'll have a little bit different stories. But
we do. Yep.
And that's
so
Relic
next
Roundup.
Monday.
What time? Monday at
7:00 Mountain Time, so 9:00 Eastern.
Yep.
And that's over on YouTube and Facebook as well.
So by the end of next week, you guys are going to be completely sick of us.
A lot of our faces
doing a lot of this with our mouths.
No, I mean, honestly, it was a fantastic experience. We want to share it out as much as we can, only because, we have the platform, we have the microphones. And to be honest, I think a lot of people take our opinions, to heart, about different situations. There's no reason for us to, put out things that aren't factual in the metal detecting community. And I think we've answered a lot of detailed questions as much as we can, but really stress, gosh, man, Josh is a really cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come away just knowing that, wow.
Well, here's something not everyone knows either is we came this close. This close.
How close? Yeah.
This close.
That's pretty close.
We came that close. That's all I wanted to say. That close.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe that close to having Josh Gates on with us here on Relics Radio Podcast.
We're still we're working on it.
We're working on it.
We're working. We almost had him for tonight, or we tried to have him for tonight, and it's still in the works.
It was considered.
Yes. It absolutely was considered. Things just don't work out with schedules, as but
he's a busy guy.
The invitation's still open. It could be fulfilled here in the future.
That's true. That's right. That'd be cool.
It would be awesome.
Future. He does,
especially after the episode airs, where we cannot really talk about the damn thing.
Right. That's the trick.
Not be so cryptic about everything. That would be even better.
He does a lot of work with metal detectors, man. Like Troy McCormick, right? He a friend of ours on Facebook. He did an episode with him. I know we have some other friends of ours out there in the metal detecting community that are probably going to be on episode 5 after ours, maybe, or the
4 or
2
5
after ours.
I think it's 2 after ours. 5.
2
episode
after
5.
ours, yeah. So that'll be fun. It was kind of out of North Carolina area.
Yep.
That'll be fun. And kind of looking back at the other episodes, he does a lot of work with metal detecting and local metal detectors. So,
and I think that's it. Is they try to find local detectorists there that that don't have to travel for a long time to get to a location.
Sure.
They don't want someone from the East Coast coming here to the mountains in Colorado, and maybe they don't know how to run their machine in the mountains. So it's one of those things.
For sure.
Local experts. And they found some here.
Yeah.
I found some.
They found at least two of you. They found at least two experts here. They were wondering what was going on with that bald guy.
Experts and Ken with his loop. Hashtag Ken with his loop is what they found.
Oh, hold on a minute. I got to do it because you did it.
About that too. Let's see if I can find it.
Talk about. So two things I wanted to bring up real quick before we're out of here. One, wasn't it cool kind of getting up and having breakfast and all of a sudden realizing, because we hadn't met him.
Forgot about that.
All of a sudden surrounded by the whole crew, and they kind of look at us and we look at them and we're like, well, guys, you know, me.
Are you?
What? Hey, oh, I am Fitz. Oh, hey, Fitz, how you doing? You know what I mean? That was kind of cool. Having breakfast all in the same room and then realizing that they were all part of the crew and stuff.
Very cool.
That was pretty darn cool. And
I had forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then the next question, I've had a couple of experiences so far. Anybody in your outside life's business, anything like that, find out that you got this coming up somehow and kind of bring it up and you're like, wow, how'd you hear about that? Anything like that? I had a couple experiences.
Not for me. I know you've told me the stories. I think,
Yeah.
Well,
one because of this and two because of the Netflix thing I appeared on. But I had this corporate guy, safety guy that I don't hardly ever talk to. Really, I don't need to. And he's kind of a bigger, higher up guy. And we have a local safety guy, and that's what we deal with. And I needed something special from him. So I called him and, hey, man, this is, Ken, blah, 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 from Northern Colorado. He's talking to me. Yeah, cool. What's up? And I asked him what's going on. He goes, hey, wait, before we get into that, he goes, were you on Netflix? And I took a step back and I go, what are you talking? I said, I was watching Netflix with my wife and we were watching that Forrest Fenn special. And I could have swore you were on it. I kept rewinding it. I was telling my wife, that's Ken King from Northern Colorado. And so we talked about it. Then we started talking about Forrest Fenn. So that was kind of cool that he had saw that. I'm on there for a hair of a split second. And then just recently, a real close coworker of mine, I don't share stuff with my personal life with my coworkers. I really just don't. You know what I mean? Like we're working professionals, and my outside, they all know I metal detect. I mean, it's bled over now a number of times, but we go into a meeting, me and this guy I work with and another guy, and we're talking about a job that's coming up. And the same thing, he goes, wait, time out. First, before we even get started, he goes, how come you didn't tell me you're going to be on TV? And I go, so we're not connected on Facebook, right? And I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. What do you mean? He's like, you're going to be on TV on that Expedition Unknown. And I go, how did you hear about that? And the other guy we're in the meeting with is looking at me like, what? I watch that show all the time. So this guy that asked me that, I'm like, how did you? And then then it hit me. My wife and his wife are connected on Facebook. And my wife had put something out on her Facebook page saying, hey, Ken's going to be on TV, blah, blah, blah. And so then I had to like, yeah. He's like, well, why didn't you tell everybody at the company? I'm like, no. That's not the way I am. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that. And it's been funny having instances like that. I had the president of my company tell me that one time that he went into this board meeting of our huge upper corporation, and the IT department from our corporation, who's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, came into this meeting to present something new that they were going to develop. And they somehow came around that one of them watches Adventures in Dirt videos. And so all of a sudden the entire meeting became talking about Ken in Colorado and this Adventures in Dirt YouTube channel. And so the president calls me, he goes, so we didn't get to the meeting for 15 minutes, Ken. He's like, we're all have busy schedules and we couldn't even start the meeting until we spent 15 minutes talking about Adventures in Dirt. And I just don't share that stuff with my coworkers, but oh my God, I was hilarious, man. I was cracking up.
Yeah. I did share with my coworkers that we're doing, the Expeditions Unknown, and we're doing watch party where I work.
Yep. So we're all going to be there. Well, hopefully all of us will be there, and we'll be watching it all together, and then
be advised together on what we
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be, so it goes from 7 to 8 Mountain. What's the over under on us getting out of there about 10:30? Because we're just going to talk about everything, right? I mean, we're going to talk about this scene, or what they said, how they presented this, and where they went to them, what didn't make it. Like,
what didn't make it.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I hopefully I'll have a nice fresh bottle of scotch or whiskey, and there'll be a couple beers there. And so,
I have a quick story too. Ken was talking about being recognized, or I was working graveyards on patrol, and we got a new lieutenant, and it's like 2:00 in the morning. Lieutenant calls me on my cell. He says, "Hey Tony, where are you at right now?" So I told him, I said, "Meet me at this parking lot." And so I pull in the parking lot. He shows up. He gets out, and he's standing there. He's looking at me, kind of looks me up and down. He goes, "Are you 5280 on YouTube?" And I said, "Yeah, I do that." He goes, "Oh my gosh, there's no way. I just totally binge watched all of your videos during COVID." And he was like, he used to live in Washington. And all of a sudden he's watching him in Washington. He moves to Colorado, becomes a lieutenant. And now I'm working for this guy. And he's like, I thought it was you, but I didn't know for sure. And so, yeah, it wasn't about Expedition Unknown, but just being kind of recognized.
Yeah, that's always trippy.
So anyways.
Had any issues like that?
No, come on, Jeff. People are like, are you the dude that's found $1.1 million worth of rings out there?
That's right.
Jeff is the most well-known ring finder out there. And for those of you who don't know, Ring Finders is a network of metal detectorists that go out and look for lost rings and other pieces of jewelry and metal. Yeah.
Let me say, I've returned keys, cell phones, earrings, pendants, you name it. If it can be found, I've probably looked for it. For some things that couldn't be found, or haven't been found. So,
well, we're getting close to the end. I want to throw this picture up one more time, and just kind of round up everything together here. I mean, what an experience overall. Not only to just be a part of the situation, but all these people, like. Every single one of them was absolutely incredible. Probably spent, a little bit of time, touch with each one of them in a limited capacity, but definitely had an incredible experience overall with that.
So 5 Mile Relic Hunter said, "Did y'all get any swag?"
Yeah. At the end, we did.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about that?
I think we should wait till Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm interested to see if that makes the cut.
Oh yeah.
True. Yep. So you have to tune in Wednesday to the show, 9 p.m. Eastern on Discovery Channel, or Thursday night on the Quarter After and Quarter Hoarders channel, where we'll be able to talk a lot more about it, show more pictures, and talk about either how cool the edit was or how not cool the edit was.
We don't know.
We don't know. Well, cool, man. Guys, thanks a lot for coming on. And it was really fun kind of experiencing that with you guys. And that picture tells it all right there. We were on cloud 9, man. We're just having such a good time in a beautiful place at a killer permission with amazing people that just were so open and friendly. I mean, I know I really appreciated it. And I know we keep talking about it, but because of the experience we had was so different with the UK crew. Wasn't that it was bad? Not at all. It was different. Very, very, very different. Different type of production. So it was just so cool having a completely different experience that we enjoyed, I think, much more, in that type of environment.
Yeah. And the weather was perfect for us too, by the way. In case you couldn't tell by that amazing sunset that was going on.
Yeah. It was awesome. All right. Final words, guys. You want to do final words and then we'll get on out of here?
Sure. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, I was going to say, well, if you're available on Monday night, check us out Monday night on Relic Roundup. Right here on StreamYard, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's in, YouTube. But yeah, look for American Digger Magazine's Relic Roundup. That's where you can catch me. And you know what? I'm glad you guys were there with me, and I really had a ball.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for thinking of us, buddy.
Yep.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And I will say, just in the closing one, yeah, Stephanie did correct me that we were actually on our way back from Destin when that call came in. So that's how we're
right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. Once again, thank you for correcting me, because my memory is crap.
Good job, Stephanie. Keep him on his toes. Keep him in line.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, man. We'll see you in a minute. We'll put you down in the green room. Okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Yep. I want to just kind of second Jeff as well. Incredible experience, but couldn't have done it with a better bunch of guys. Really had a great time. I think it drew us a lot closer to in terms of friendships, which is what kind of this community is about for sure. Relics are great. Experiences are great. Friendships are fantastic, and they last forever. So, you know, three great guys right here, and love the community, and absolutely can't thank Jeff enough for including me. So thank you very much. See you guys watching the Expedition Unknown Wednesday, and then see you over on Quarter Hoarder on Thursday night next week. And we'll tell you about all the super G14 classified top secret stuff.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. Yeah, man. So if you're tired of hearing us gushing over each other and what a great time it was, I mean, that's just it. We just had a great time, man. So I hope to see some of you over there. I hope to hear some of the reports back on what you thought of the show after you watch it on Discovery Channel or streaming on Discovery Plus or Hulu Live or Philo. I think just Teresa, appreciate you. Put in some information there in the chat. So if you're listening on the replay, go over and check out the chat. You can find that information. And I just want to remind all of you out there watching or listening, if you go skydiving, or if you go Rocky Mountain climbing, or even if you spend 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu, when you get done, go metal detecting, find the good stuff, tell me about it, and listen to Relics Radio. We'll catch you sometime next week on Quarter Hoarder, or the week after right back here on Relics Radio.
Grandma's Baroque.
That too.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.